Welcome to our fall concert, Grand Sweden concert. It's awesome to have all of you. The first piece that you just heard was the conclusion to the Firebird suite, which is started as a ballet, and then Igor Stravinsky tore some pieces from it and put them together in its own little package. What you just heard was the lullaby and then the finale of the Firebird suite. And as you can tell, it's called Firebird for a reason. It's got tons of energy in it. Stravinsky's one of my favorite because his music literally started fistfights back in 1913. It wasn't Firebird that started, it was The Rite of Spring. It premiered to a Paris crowd, and there were two types of people in the crowd. There was the super high society that liked their wine and brie, and then the bohemians who kind of had like an open mind about certain things. And when they heard how ridiculous it sounded, and also The Rite of Spring was a ballet as well. So the movements on stage were really jarring, the music was really strange, and it just kind of threw everybody for a loop. And they started rioting in the audience, which is one of like my all-time favorite stories in music history, because usually it's about old dead white guys. So it's actually some flavor in there. So I had to pick some Stravinsky. Our next piece is the closing movement to Brahms' First Symphony. Brahms was a super critical person, not only of his contemporaries, but of himself as well. He worked and tore apart and threw away and literally burned a lot of his early works because he thought they weren't good enough. He worked on this First Symphony for about 15 years, and it wasn't until he was about 50 years old that it finally premiered. And again, he threw away movements and then rewrote, and eventually it premiered. The reason why he was, well, one, he was so critical. Also, he was a huge fan of Beethoven. And Beethoven was the granddad of all symphonies. Well, not the granddad, but he was like the master of the symphony. His final symphony, his ninth symphony, through choral music with the orchestra, and really rocked everybody's world. They didn't rock it, but it was pretty life-changing in the world of music. When this symphony premiered, it was so good, a lot of music critics called it Beethoven's 10th, because it was that good. So, I guess that kind of tickled Brahms' fancy. I guess that's what he was going for. So, I hope you enjoyed. This is the final movement of Brahms' symphony, also totally different from Stravinsky. So, enjoy. selections from Peer Gynt's suite. Peer Gynt was actually a play, and Grieg wrote music to go along with that play. It wasn't a musical because there wasn't songs and singing and all that grandeur, but it was a play with music to go along with it. Kind of like a movie, but live. The two selections that you'll hear, the first one is called Morning Mood, which is supposed to depict a sunrise. However, the sunrise happens in the Moroccan desert, which when I hear this piece, I never think desert. I think Norwegian forest, like redwoods or something, right? Like something nice, not a desert. So that's the first half. The second half is in the Hall of the Mountain King, which I'm sure you'll recognize. In the play, it is the part where the main character, Peer Gynt, enters the Hall of the Troll, the Mountain King. So, hope you enjoy our final selection. Thanks again for coming. Enjoy the rest of the show.